What is the best bluegill bait? Don't go anywhere. I am Lubo, you're watching LyubakaVideo, and we're about to find out right now.
For those who don't know Grant, well, introduce yourself.
I'm Grant McIntosh. I like to fish, of course, and I do a lot of hunting, and I raise worms.
Definitely a lot of hunting. This is like a wall of fame right here. And which one is your favorite from the hunting? Is it deer hunting or turkey hunting? Which one would you
It'd
say?
have to be waterfowl, whether it's ducks or geese. I deer hunt from October 1st when bow season comes in right up to the day duck season opens on Thanksgiving Day every year. And after that, I'm done deer hunting. If I haven't gotten a deer by Thanksgiving, I'm not getting one.
Right there
That's,
you have 4 fish of a lifetime for pretty much any pan fisherman.
So I had to get
So,
those mounted.
I do have a series, best bluegill bait. Besides your worms, what is the best bluegill bait in your opinion?
Camera's rolling. Alright, Grant, what got you into raising worms?
Mainly for the composting, for fertilizer. It's supposed to be a great organic fertilizer for a garden, for plants. It's supposed to make your plants stronger, healthier, disease resistant, pest resistant. So I'm going to give it a try. This will be my first year using it in the garden. I've had the red wigglers since August of 2018, the African Nightcrawlers since October, and the European.
This is all customized. I see VermiBag.
Yep.
This is the Mammoth stuff, Grant
This is the
McIntosh.
I just got this. I just got the VermiBag Mammoth 2 weeks ago, and then I've had the European Nightcrawlers for 6 weeks now.
Is there a lot of learning involved? It's a big process.
I watched a lot of videos trying to learn, and I think I've got it figured out.
And the main resource for you has been YouTube to learn how to do it? And
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. A
Okay.
lot of YouTube videos.
That's why, as I've been mentioning a lot of times without trying to be a mentor, I think that in what you're doing right now, you can easily become an authority as a channel, regardless that the name of your channel isn't branded in any way relevant to the worms, but that also gives you the freedom, I feel, where you can extend in any direction you want after that. And hopefully with a little bit help from here and there from other YouTubers and from people that can share your stuff and social media, you can actually grow and reach your goals not only in 2019 but in long term as well. One thing I wanted to ask, the startup process, is it involved a lot of money to buy the actual cultures, or how is it called, the startup? Like, are you buying just a cocoon? Are you buying adult worms?
I've bought adult worms. It just depends. You can start for a little of nothing. You know, I've got these just $6. What is this? 66 quart
Okay, like 66 quart tubs.
tub, and
Okay.
you know, so that's $6. That's all I've got in that. And then I bought a cubic foot of peat moss
Okay.
for I think $9, and that's
How
I've
many
still got half of.
how many worms can one of these support?
I'd say starting out about a pound is good, and
A pound of adult worms.
a pound of adult worms, or even, you know, the more worms you have, the more cocoons you're going to get, but the more room you have, the more room they have to grow, and the more they're going to populate. The composting worms will self-regulate, so if they don't have the space or the food, they will stop laying cocoons.
Okay, kind of like aquarium fish. They grow only to a certain size. The bigger the tank, the bigger they grow, and the more you feed them. And let's get back to the food. What do they eat?
They eat our food scraps. Any fruits, vegetables. We do, say, banana peels, potato peels. You know, if you get a half a head of lettuce, it's bad. You know, produce doesn't last long nowadays. They try to pick it ripe so you don't get your flavor, and then it doesn't last long. It might be on the shelf at the store for a week or so. So if you don't use it right away, it goes bad quickly. And this is a way to keep those fruits and vegetables from going into the landfills. So not only are you making your own fertilizer, you're helping the environment,
Reduce waste.
reducing the waste that's going into the landfills.
That being said, is there any certain food scraps that are actually bad for them? Something that we should avoid, like citrus or something that's
Well,
not good?
that's been proven a myth. The citrus, onions, and peppers have been called forbidden foods for worms, but there's plenty of videos showing that that's a myth. I've actually, for the first time, fed citrus. I do my red wiggler videos on Wednesday, my African Nightcrawlers on Thursday.
And he keeps a very good schedule, so whenever you're gonna follow it, I'm gonna put a link in the description somewhere right here on the top of the screen.
And the Europeans on Friday. This past Thursday, I did feed citrus for the first time. You want to take a look and see if the worms are...
Let's go ahead. Everybody's alive.
Because I have not checked on it at all.
So this is the Mammoth VermiBag.
The VermiBag Mammoth. And I put the orange peels, or the half of an orange, right in the corners.
So the bag itself, is it fully ventilated this way?
It's a breathable.
Breathable bag, okay. And those are the orange peels.
That was a half of an orange.
Okay.
So
they drank the orange juice and they ran away.
There's one worm right there. That's a little one.
That's a young one. Okay.
Here. So it doesn't look like they've touched it yet. Well, there's a baby right in the middle there.
That's what a baby worm looks like. As my daughters would say, so cute.
There's a...
And because we don't have a smelly vision, just so you know, it doesn't smell bad at all.
There's one right there.
Actually smells kind of citrusy.
Right, and a worm bin should not smell. If it has a smell...
If it's healthy, it shouldn't smell.
Right,
okay.
It's going to have... smell earthy. And then I fed...
How do you avoid mold?
Well, mold is actually not a bad thing.
Okay.
The mold will help break down the foods. And that's where I fed my blend there.
And that's like a symbiosis for them. They actually utilize the fungus, right?
Right.
Okay.
So there's a few adults and babies.
And those are great for fishing, guys. That's why we're featuring Grant McIntosh on Fishy Jobs.
But the cocoons, an adult Nightcrawler, red wiggler, they can lay cocoons, several a week. The African Nightcrawler cocoons are definitely hard to see. They're a lot darker.
Okay.
I'll try to...
What is the difference? How do you tell what makes a worm a mammoth? Is that just a brand name? Or?
The Mammoth is the VermiBag.
Okay, so that's the name of the bag. Okay.
The Mammoth is the biggest VermiBag you can buy. They have a max that's half this size, and then they have a mini that's about half that size.
And to learn where to get them, you're gonna actually have to subscribe to Grant and go to his channel, see the links that he's gonna post, because I'm sure by the time you will be watching this video, he will have referral links to where you can buy those bags, and also different foods for the worms, pretty much everything you need, so that you can set up and start composting for yourself.
Right.
What is this bag? This is the red wigglers?
This is the urban worm bag. And
urban worm bag, okay.
Urban worm bag, yep, right there.
Okay, I'm gonna post pictures of those when I get a chance. Urban worm, okay.
And so this is my European, and I shred up old newspaper, junk mail, because you need the newspaper, and paper is carbon.
Okay.
And
cellulose.
The food you put in is the nitrogen.
Okay.
So here's...
So this is how they're building their protein, from the carbon and the nitrogen.
Right. And then this is a blend of eggshells, potato peels, and banana peels. I just put them in the blender. There's a young one.
And I did ask you that earlier. Does the ink from the newspapers affect the stability of the paper? Does it affect the worms at all?
As far as the research I've done, most of the ink is soy based, so it should be safe. I haven't had any issues with dying off. Let's see, right there.
This is a cocoon?
That's a cocoon.
Actually, I saw another one there. There was two of them. So that thing right there is a cocoon, people.
Yeah.
How many come out of a cocoon? What did we say?
Well,
1,300.
So far, I've only done one cocoon only bin, and that was with the red wigglers. I picked out, there's a good size European.
This is a European earthworm.
That right there is the ring. The white ring is called a clitellum, and
Okay.
that's how you know they're a mature worm.
Okay. And they're hermaphrodites, so there's no males and females, and they can breed between them. Is there such a thing? I've heard another thing that some of the worms, like Canadian Nightcrawlers, are actually sterile. Is there such a thing at all, or it's not true?
I'm not sure about the sterile part of it, but I've just heard that they have a problem reproducing in captivity, the Canadians.
Could it be? It sounds like they're big predators roaming the wild in captivity.
Right.
No, but jokes aside, I think that's one of the reasons that I've heard is that actually for some reason they're bred sterile, so that you basically have to go back and buy your own. Right?
So there's
another
two different
cocoon.
cocoons. That one's quite a bit smaller than that one. So, you know, this one might have 3 to 5, and this one might only have 1 or 2 babies in it.
Okay, so they're just single digits in a cocoon.
Well, like I was saying, the only cocoon only bin that I've done was on red wigglers.
Okay,
And what I did was, and I've got the video in my playlist.
I will link it as well. I'll get the links for you guys.
I took out 300 cocoons, and on September 1st, on October 30th, I counted how many worms I got from those 300 cocoons, and I had 592. So 300 to 592, pretty close to 2 per cocoon.
Even with life lost,
Might have been.
yeah. But
That's
it
actually
sounds-
what this bin is. Those were my babies.
So this was a cocoon only,
Mhm.
and now it's the babies that have grown.
Right. So these are the red wigglers.
How
And,
often do you humidify? How often do you spray water on the?
I do have a spray bottle. I'll just, you know, typically
Make sure it's pink. It
make
always
sure it's
helps.
pink. Typically, I'm not going to squeeze it, but if you
Okay.
squeeze your bedding and just 1 drop or less, if it feels moist, you don't want it too wet,
Right.
but
So the squeeze test should feel like squeezing cake, or
yeah, if you squeeze a good handful and you just get 1 or 2 drops, that's
Okay.
plenty.
make sure you don't squeeze the ones that already have worms in them.
Right, that's what I didn't want to do. But here's the red wigglers. You know, they're quite a bit smaller. And there's actually 2
Oh, that's
locked
interesting.
up.
So these are 2 that are tried to reproduce and they got locked up, huh?
They are mating.
Okay, that's mating worms. I hope YouTube doesn't demonetize the video because it's sexual content.
they are locked up.
That's interesting. Okay, I can definitely say I've never seen something like that. No, I have. Back home I have actually.
Yeah, they are intertwined.
Okay, so this is when they exchange, what is it called, spermatophora, or how is it called, the material that they exchange?
I'm not sure the word for it.
I
No,
used
they
to know
just-
it. We'll find out. I'll put it in the description. The different terms and tag words that you can actually use to find these videos.
Okay.
So how many do you guess are in here? 500?
Well, I started with 592 because I counted every single
Right.
one of them. I actually started in a smaller bin, and so I know there's at least 592 put in here. But that was October 30th, so here we are, almost to the end of January, and there's 1 cocoon on my thumb there. They're quite a bit smaller. There's
And
several
they
cocoons
also
in
seem
here.
to be firmer and a little bit different shape, because the one from the bigger bin, those look like they're kind of more egg shaped,
Right.
and these look like they have like little pointy ends.
But they also have the clitellum on them.
So what is the test that you have to tell you that the compost is ready to use in your garden, or to further use, like when you actually take the worms out and you feel like, okay, this is ready to go in the garden? How do you decide?
So far, I haven't had these long enough to do any, but the Worm Factory 360,
Let's hop on over there.
it is supposed to be a an upward migration composting bin system.
Okay.
So what happens here is you start out with a tray on the bottom.
So it's almost like a beehive.
It's like this. It's got holes in the bottom
Okay.
where the worms can go up through. You start your next tray, And the worms are supposed to migrate up into the top tray.
Because they find the food there.
Right. You
Okay.
always feed on the top tray.
Okay.
So what I did was a week before last, I had my bottom two trays. They were nothing but castings.
Okay.
So everything's pretty much broke down. There's one little piece of
Paper. Okay.
paper, but I mean it's basically all
So
castings.
this is kind of final product is called castings.
the worm
So basically
castings.
whatever's passed through the worms.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's all castings. Well, what happened was there were still worms. The upward migration doesn't work quite like it's supposed to.
Okay. So how do you
So what
solve that problem?
What I did, I poked holes in the styrofoam cup all the way around it.
This is a worm trap, people.
It's a worm trap. And I put the food in there, hoping that the worms would go into it, so I wouldn't have to pick them all out. Alright, so there, look at all them worms that have gone into that trap.
Works like a charm.
They just smell the food and find the food through the holes, and now I don't have to pick them all out.
You learned it here on Grand McIntosh. I have another question now. Obviously, lots of questions. Now, styrofoam, obviously, it takes forever to dissolve. So I'm guessing you reuse the trap.
Oh yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a great way to keep going with it. And then with styrofoam, you cannot really control the humidity inside. So do you add water to the bottom of it, or how does it maintain its...
I actually just, the food that I put in there, the ground up bananas and banana
Okay.
peels and stuff. I mean, you can see how moist that is.
Right, that's
It's
gonna
got
be
plenty
enough
of moisture.
to create.
So then, just take the trap out of there and put your worms in here. There's a few on the outside even.
Now, I see also on that, on the bottom of that, there is a little drain siphon.
Yes.
Now, that actually you use it when there's excess water.
I've actually just got it open. So,
Okay, it stays open all
so
the time.
it stays open. If I feed too wet, then the moisture automatically comes out the bottom. It's got a bottom tray. This
Okay.
actually comes with a off here. See, there's even worms down in the bottom there.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
there's a little worm ladder, is what they call it, where
So
the worms can crawl up and
It's
get
like
in.
a oil pan on the bottom.
Right.
Now this is made of plastic, like a pliable plastic. Okay, so it's like up to how many trays of those can you use?
When I bought it, it only came with 4. You can actually buy extra trays, but from what I've found, about the time you want to start a new tray is about a month.
Within
So
a month you want to jump on a new
that's
tray.
how it's been for me. 4 to 5 weeks, start a new tray.
And whatever's in the lowest tray will come here, and then this final product is basically compost castings that you can use in your garden or in your flower pots, or if you're on a bigger scale, probably you can actually sell it, I'm sure, at some point.
Definitely. It's called black gold. So this bluegill I caught on my very first cast in a farm pond on a red wiggler, and it was 2 pounds 4 ounces. And I thought, here we go. But that was the first one. Started off with a bang. And then this one was 2.1. And then this one was 115, I believe. And that one was like 114. And then we caught several more. Worms are the best. But if I couldn't pick a worm, it would have to probably be a cricket.
A cricket? So definitely natural bait is what you would use.
Natural, for sure.
Unreal, man. So the biggest one is 2.4.
2.4. Or 2 pounds 4 ounces. So.
Wow. That's like 2 1/4. Okay. It's insane. I mean, those are definitely the ones that you can lip.
Oh yeah.
Once again, I want to thank Grant for welcoming me in his home. I'm out here in Metropolis just for several hours today on my way to Clearwater, Florida. We did a quick video for our fishy jobs series where he introduced me to his worm farm. I'm gonna be on my way. Once again, thank you so much. And what is your goal for 2019, Grant?
My goal for 2019 is to get at least 5,000 subscribers and to grow the worm community. I mean, I love to watch hunting and fishing videos, but I would really like to see everyone needs a worm, whether it's a bin or some type of worm bag. You need worms. It's going to do a tremendous reduction on waste going into the landfill. And if everybody does it, it's got to help make the world a better place.
It's a multi-level effort, and he's on the front line of it. He's definitely very knowledgeable. Definitely check his channel out. Links will be in the description. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Grant.
Have a great day.